Of course, it is headlining that the United States of America has prepared a bill to sanction South African politicians and select individuals within the ANC. Quick disclaimer: I am not South African, but I'm African, and also I'm just a human being seeing news. And I would like to get into the details of this bill, the so-called bill, and the reasons that are cited, because so many people will just hear the summary of what the United States of America is claiming that the ANC have done, which makes them deserve to be sanctioned. I think the first thing to talk about is what are sanctions. Anybody with a half a brain and who have been following or trying or reading or researching about politics or geopolitics, you would know that most of the times the reasons that are given are not the actual reasons. Okay, so sanctions are usually used in good faith. They are always portrayed as a good measure, as a good tool to punish entities who are breaking international law, or who are violating human rights, or who are causing some security threat to another country whatsoever. And the United States of America has employed this thing for decades, and we all know that most of the reason that they are going to give you a bullshit. This is not the actual truth. The truth is the United States of America uses sanctions as a tool to overthrow governments around the world. When they see that a certain government does not align with their own interests, U.S. interests, irregardless of the interests of the people that government serves, that government could be perfect for its own people. If the United States of America is not happy because of your government's foreign policy, they will seek to do these things to them, irregardless of them being perfect for you, for serving its own people's interests. That is where the problem is. So they employed sanctions in order to destabilize the country or make the country ungovernable, so that the people of that country will suffer and feel pain, and then revolt against their government, to overthrow the government or remove the politician, even if it means in the next election they will vote against that the president who's in power. So it is an attempted coup on another country. So this is an attempted coup on Cyril Ramaphosa. So if you look at most of these allegations that they are putting on this document, has nothing to do with the actual South Africans that the president of South Africa is serving. So it is about the foreign policy of the ANC, what the positions that the ANC have taken on the international stage. Most of it has nothing to do with the citizen. But at the end of the day, most of the times, yes, they are saying these are targeted sanctions to individuals, but most of the time, these sanctions will end up affecting the average human being, so that when there is chaos and destabilization and the economy collapses and there's unemployment, and then people will revolt and either do not vote for that president or overthrows the president. We can already see how this is problematic, because you now want to cause chaos and destabilize another country, and the most people who feel the most pain is not the president. If you put sanctions on Ramaphosa, I can guarantee you he has nothing to lose. That man has enough money to survive, he has everything. The person who will suffer is the average person in the country, for their own benefit. Imagine, for their own benefit, for US interests. At the end of the day, the idea is to inflict pain on the average person, so that when they feel enough pain, they will revolt against their own leadership. For the most part, in today's age, this plan of the United States of America has been very, very effective in so many countries, because so many people have awakened to this nonsense, to this bullshit, because people know now, people have access to information, have seen what they've done in the past, where it was effective and it was working. Because the other thing is, when a politician is unpopular in some instances because of other reason in the country, obviously people will take advantage of that and will feel like the United States of America is on their side. But in reality, it's not about you, it's not about the average person. They care about their own imperial agendas. It is nothing to do. I mean, if you look at this bill, everything is about Israel, Russia, and China. It is their continuous desperation to punish anyone in the world who stands up against Israel. It is the Israel lobby who is pushing the United States of America to punish any other country who has done this. And of course, South Africa being the first country to file the court case at the ICJ about the genocide. This thing is so long and useless. I'm just going to touch on the ones that so outstanding, including the number two, which talks about South Africa backing Hamas, because Hamas is a designated terrorist organization by the United States of America, which designated Nelson Mandela as a terrorist before until 2008. I'm sure they just maybe forgot to remove it. So you need to understand. So the United States of America has always supported colonization. If you go back in history, you will always find that the colonial project was always supported by the United States of America. So there is nothing new here. If we don't want to go deep down into the Hamas Israel thing, but obviously, I would understand why South Africa would support a resistant group within the Palestinians, because they always supported a Palestinian state, the freedom of everybody. Many black people would stand with the oppressed people of Palestine. So this nonsense of trying to designate Hamas as a terrorist group whatsoever, I don't know who they are and I don't know what they do. But it is the major campaign of making sure the Palestinian people do not get the support that they need in the world in order to stand against the apartheid regime of Israel. And obviously, naming it a proxy to Iran. And yes, I mean, Iran would do the same. If Iran believes in the freedom of the Palestinians, they will support and fund anybody who's trying to break free from this. I mean, Africans would understand, because we also had help from other countries in order to fight for our liberation. So this is the same thing that is happening here. If Iran wants to support the Palestinians to fight back against the colonial apartheid regime of Israel, it's of course they will. And accusations of South Africa being close to Russia and China. Of course, come on. People can associate with whoever the fuck they want to associate it with in this world. The problem is America is so desperate and so scared that they are losing their power in the global stage to Russia and China. So they're trying their level best to isolate Russia by trying to pull everybody else. And number three speaks of South Africa accusing Israel of practicing apartheid. Because, I mean, what are you talking about? So many other people in the world, so many other countries have said the same thing, the same Israeli bullshit of trying to run away from the truth. Number four, South Africa said some anti-Semitic things after October the 7th. Go on and on, same Israeli bullshit. And on and on and on. The whole thing, half the document is about this Israel bullshit. And then number five is all about Russia. Why is South Africa aligning with Russia? They are literally contradicting themselves, which shows how sick they are in their mind. They are contradicting themselves, saying South Africa accused Israel of committing war crimes, which means they are not committing war crimes. It's an accusation in this bed. This is terrible. Why is South Africa accusing them? But then later on in the same document, they say South Africa is aligning to Russia, which is committing war crimes in Ukraine, which means Israel is not committing war crimes, but Russia is committing war crimes. What the fuck, bro? Who is writing this shit, bro? The ICC have labeled both sides committing war crimes, but you are picking and choosing whoever you want to say this one is committing war crimes, this one is not. The double standard and the madness is just, it's crazy. These people have lost legitimacy, and they're not understanding it, they're not seeing it. I'm sure if the United States of America had a reasonable, smart president, would be able to handle these matters in a smart way, which will not lead to catastrophe for their own country. But the people who are there are sick in their heads. And the last is all about China. I mean, we're so tired of hearing this garbage. By trying to determine who is supposed to be your friend, who is supposed to associate with you. Please don't associate it. The desperation of trying to pull other people in the world, to try pull the whole other countries not to associate themselves with China. What did the Chinese do, really? I mean, everybody in the world have eyes to see. The Chinese ain't doing nothing. You are actually the criminals who are doing things that are terrible to the world. Everybody has eyes to see. They are literally telling people not to believe their own eyes, but listen to their bullshit. They even talk about Chinese propaganda that they only one country which is very good at propaganda is yourselves. I don't understand. But anyway, this is all crap. I mean, it is so sickening to see this go on and on. I don't understand how desperate can they get not to see that people in the world don't believe in this bullshit anymore. But obviously, those who seek to benefit from this will obviously rejoice and tout it and promote it, and they are so-called allies. But the funny part is, in some instances, their own allies don't listen to them when they know it's for their own interest, especially when it comes to trade and all that with the Chinese. The Europeans don't listen to the Americans, and even when it comes to doing business with the Russians, sometimes the Europeans don't listen to the Americans. But apparently, they want South Africa to listen. It is the plan to try and hit China and Russia and try to destroy BRICS, because they see that South Africa is part of that, and it is a low-hanging fruit that is punishable, because obviously they've tried all their best to throw whatever they have at China. They can't. That is the reality.